So let me know you're here. It's very good to be back with you. I missed you guys. Like, got to 9 o'clock on Wednesday evening, and I was like, something's not right. What do I do with myself? So it's very good to have you back for a bonus session. And even if you don't think you've got anything to teach, you've got something to teach. So this session is definitely for you, whether you think it is or not. So let's do it. I am just going to get a couple of other bits ready on the hub, just so that we're all there. I don't need that. And I do need that. So let me just, that will come up there. Good. Okay, cool. Let's bring that down slightly. Boom. Okay, cool. Fantastic. So let me know you're here in the comments. Hit me up. Say hello. Say bonjour. Tell me how much you've missed me as well. You know, come on, feed this fragile little heart. Let me know that you know, you've missed the sessions as well. Let me know that you've caught up with some of the other sessions as well. If you haven't, why not? So yeah, let me know what you've been doing. Obviously, let me know you can hear me as well. That's always a useful thing. I'm going to check. Oh, I do need that. I do need that so I can check the hub. That's what I need that for. Let's bring up the old hub. Who's on the hub? Who's on the hub? Let me know you're on the hub. Come on, hub. Do you want to actually load up so I can? That's my hub song. You like it? All right, Edwin's here. Fantastic. Good, good, good. Edwin's on the hub. Very nice, very nice. So if you have got the playbook, it'll be the page, not surprisingly, called Create My Curriculum. Karen's here. She's been lost. Because it's been a bit uncertain in your word. So Karen, let us know, because I know that you were having some conversations with the care home about a role there. So how did that go? Let us know. Have you found yourself a bit now? Is that, you know, is the finding process in order? Obviously tonight, everyone's going to help you find yourself as well. So that's you know, that's why we're all here. Right, so where am I at? Got the hub rolling. Cool, cool, cool. Got that. That's there. Good. It's all working. A dog barks in the distance. It was a dark and stormy night. What is that actually a line from any book? I never know. I know it's like kind of voted the worst opening line of a book ever. But I don't know if it actually came from a book directly in the first place. Surely it must have been in order to be voted. Yeah, so we'll give it a few minutes. Give it a few minutes, let people arrive. Friday evening, you know, 6:30 is an interesting time. But I wanted to make sure that we actually, you know, we kind of kept some momentum going. We got the bonus session in. Well, the first bonus session, I'd imagine there's going to be some more as well. Obviously, we've got the confidence ones coming up, but they're kind of like a chunk. Just going to move my pad. Okay, cool. Okay. Well, so Karen, you're not sure there's going to be enough hours to make it work. Well, you know, it's great that, you know, there's some possibilities, right? It'd be a bit shit if there were no possibilities. So really, you know, fantastic. You know, well done you for getting the possibilities rolling. Edwin, how have you been, brother? Let us know anything exciting going on in Edwin's world. Yeah. Where is everybody? I know Cam will still be asleep in Australia. It's about 4 AM in Australia at the moment. Maybe even a bit earlier than that. So yeah. Need a bit of a shave, maybe. Just checking the old hub. Well, you know what? I reckon we can get started. because what we're going to be covering, for the first few minutes is some of the kind of what's and whys of creating a curriculum. And so I think, people who do join on will automatically pick up where we're at. So let's do it. So welcome to this bonus session of Creative Ignition. And guys, again, thank you for being a part of this. It's really amazing. Whether you're watching on the recording, or whether you're watching right now live on the hub, on the Facebook, it's just awesome to be a part. And I hope, let me know, I hope you feel it too, that it's awesome to be a part of a community that is so supportive, and actually where we don't have to get it right all the time, where we can actually explore, we can things can unfold. And that's what I really love. And I was originally trying to get this session into the 30-day plan, and it just I couldn't quite see how it would sink in necessarily. But of course, I know there are a lot of us who have got things we could teach. So I definitely wanted to make sure we didn't kind of let it fall by the wayside. So welcome. Now, why is it important to kind of teach your stuff? Why is it important to create a curriculum? Well, this actually goes beyond simply teaching stuff. What we're going to be exploring here is essentially a way of organizing stuff so that it's easy for people to comprehend. And so that it may be that actually you could use this same process and system we're going to look at to potentially even, order your day, or to, manage, how you connect with your friends, or to, organize. I'm trying to think of other things or if you're a parent, organize how you do things with your kids at the weekends, right? Because essentially what we are exploring is a way of taking a kind of a big topic and breaking it down so that it becomes manageable, not just for you, but for other people who might need to encounter that big topic, okay? So, but if we are talking about teaching stuff, and, that's what we're really going to be focusing on, irregardless of the fact that you can use this process for other things, why is teaching stuff so important? Well, it's, two real reasons. One is it's a way that you can share your gifts in a really, really valuable way. That's the first thing. Because like we've had over these 30 days, actually you can really get to know people. You can really get a sense of where they're at, and you've got you can kind of deliver a lot of value, over the course of these 30 days. I feel like I've shared a lot of stuff, right? So what that means is, it allows you to create something that's very high value. And when we talk about high value, it's a phrase that gets tossed around a lot. It's like, oh, we've got to add value. And it simply means, are you actually, creating something, offering something that will serve someone, that will allow them to make their life better in some way, shape or form? And when we also, it's a double thing, because that is high value, right? But it's also high value in terms of, can you be deservedly well rewarded for what you are offering? Okay. And that's, so yes, a curriculum, teaching a course, a program really allows you to do that. And the other thing is, because of that, the reason why it's important to teach something, to have a curriculum, is because it can really get tongues wagging. Like, I don't know if Seb's managed to jump on, but even today, Seb pinged me a message saying, giving me an update of where things were at with what he's been working on, but also saying that he's got a friend who, is in a kind of place where he really felt like he'd benefit from what we've been doing. So, because I'd shared the course with Seb, straight away Seb was like, oh, he was saying to his friend, check out this guy's book. Hey, definitely come and be a part of the group, right? So it allows you to really kind of get people's tongues wagging, to kind of get them talking about what you're doing, okay? So in the session tonight, I want to make sure that you have a sense that it's not a big overwhelming thing. Actually, it can be really simple to put together a course, a program. And so we're going to cover a few kind of what I call the foundations and fundamentals. I'm going to kind of share with you some course structure examples obviously you're already part of one, this 30 minutes for 30 days. And we're also going to look at some of the extra bits that you might not think about when you think about putting together an online course, but they're the bits that really do make a bit of a difference, okay? So, before I crack on, just do post up on the hub, Edwin or Karen, anyone else who's jumped on board. Have you got any questions around, you're creating a curriculum, around teaching stuff? I never know how long the delay is, so I'll give you a kind of minute for any of those questions to land. What questions do you come with around teaching and sharing your stuff? Let's just see the old hub, see who's on board. Oh, Karen, you keep losing me. This is tragic. Tragic, tragic, tragic. Edwin, how are you getting me? Are you getting me, I hope, loud and clear? Nice. Everyone's bought a new CD player. Still on, like, I kind of felt like, I don't know if you see it, I'm on one of those free cycle things where you kind of post up old stuff. There's always at the moment boxes of like VHSs being shared. Now, apparently, if you can find first edition like Disney VHSs of like The Jungle Book and Beauty and the Beast and stuff, mate, some of those can clear like in excess of 10 grand. Insane, right? Like Snow White as well, like first edition VHSs of those. But I do feel like in time CDs will become that new VHS. And also, it's also the case, I think, like my dad is massively into his classical music. He's got like this there'd be like 8 of these shelves full of CDs. And he loves it because, the sound quality really is there, far more so than on MP3s, because you don't get the same kind of range apparently on MP3s. So glad you're loving your new CD player, Edwin. Cool. Well, Edwin, do post up. You're saying the sessions help you reassess a bit your rapid launch product. What kind of things are you thinking at the moment? So we can play out some live examples. Again, it'll be coming off the top of my head, but let's see if there's some live stuff we can kind of play with. So what kind of things are you thinking? Because then I can maybe give some examples of how we might structure a course around that. We can go from there. And yeah, Key Bursts of Influence, great book. If you're watching this, read Key Bursts of Influence. Have I even got one in my bookshelf? I think I've literally given away all my copies, but I did have about 6. Because every time you go to one of their events, there's just free copies to hand out. So really good. Cool. So and definitely have kind of a piece of paper with some notes available to take if you can, because there'll be a few bits to definitely capture. So there are 3 things that you really want to kind of make sure you do at the start of any like piece of delivery of a course. Okay. First thing is enroll. That means get your participants involved, get them on board. Okay. And there's 2 ways you can do that. One is by asking them a question, or by getting them to take some kind of action. Okay. So what do I do at the start of every session? I'm like, post up in the comments, let me know you're here. Straight away, I'm enrolling you in the fact that we're on board. Okay. I'm also asking you, what have you been up to? Again, so each time I'm enrolling you, I'm getting you on board. Okay. The next thing you want to let people know is why it's important what you're about to share. Why what you're about to share is important. Let's use some good sentence structure, shall we? So yeah, you enroll them, and then you let them know why what you're about to share is important. Essentially, you're kind of telling them without telling them why they need to pay attention and listen. Okay. And there's a couple of ways you can do that. And again, this will actually deepen the enrollment process, deepen their kind of buy-in to what you're sharing, which is you want to give them a bit of pleasure and a bit of pain. So kind of saying, why it's really important, because it'll help you create this pleasure for your customers or for yourself. And why it's important, because if you don't do it, this shit might happen. Okay. So that's that. Let them know why it's important. And so on this session right now, I was saying, it's important to have your own curriculum because you can share really valuable stuff and it's high value, and it can get tongues wagging. I didn't bring in too much pain. Sometimes I do that, but so I brought in 2 bits of pleasure, right? Cool. And then the final thing you want to do is, and these kind of 3 main things you're going to do at the start of every piece of delivery, is you're going to let them know what's in it for them. WIFT, WIFT, W-I-I-F-T, what's in it for them. So here you're essentially, summarizing the benefits that they're going to get out of the session. Okay. You might outline some of the juicy topics. You might state, as I often do, guys, here's my intention for this session. I want to make sure that you leave this session being able to nail this, and this, right? So I'm kind of stating, by articulating what my intentions are, what the benefits you're going to get from the session are, okay? So that's the 3 things you're going to do at the start of every session. Enroll your participants, let them know why what you're about to share with them is important, and tell them what's in it for them, okay? And if you do those things right, before you even dive into the session, they should be like, sweet, let's do this. I'm ready. Like, this is going to be a great session. I feel like it's going to be really valuable, okay? And a big reason why it's so important to do those 3 things, to do those kind of foundation bits, is because, especially if you're delivering online, your participants are probably like, now, of course, you guys are different, right? You guys are, you're like, George, we're ready. We're super on it, right? But a lot of the time, the people who are taking part will have, maybe they might have, another tab open if you're delivering it online. They might be on their sofa, kind of just like, and, it's really your job to get them into a state where they're like, I really freaking need to know this stuff. Okay. Does that make sense? And so a key part of that, a really key part of that is your energy. Your energy. Now, naturally, I'm quite big. I'm quite big on my energy. All right. You don't necessarily have to be as kind of big and out there as I am, but I would say that the passion has to be there. The passion has to be there. Okay. And have fun. You probably have worked out by now, I'm not massively like into giving a shit what I look like, and because I know that if I care like as much as I possibly can, that's going to come through. You're going to pick that up, okay? So yeah, you don't have to be huge with the energy, but really freaking care. Take your care to like way up here. Because some of the figures I've heard, they reckon that your audience will probably be about 1/3 as engaged as you are, okay? So if you feel like you're operating here, well, that means your audience is going to be down there. So in order to raise your audience up here, you're going to need to be way up there, right? And it's your caring, your passion that will do that. If you can bring in crazy George energy as well, awesome, right? But if you are clearly enjoying it and you clearly massively care, you're really taking care of the foundations, the fundamentals at the start, okay? Because your audience is going to be like, yes, let's do this. They're going to be engaged, okay? So yeah, let me know that makes sense. The enrollment, why it's important, what's in it for them, and the energy. That's the kind of, you get those things right, and as long as you're not a complete moron, you're going to actually, your chances are more often than not, you're going to nail your session, okay? Because I'm assuming you know what you're talking about. So if that is the case, then it's those things at the start that pretty much guarantee success, because then it's just a question of you sharing what you know, and you could do that till the cows come home, right? I was quite passionate about that bit, largely because particularly when I work with young people, I see so many people like trying to help young people, and listen, they want to help, but it's like, so today we're going to go through this PowerPoint, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the slides up, and then I'm basically just going to read all the slides. Dear God, Mother of Christ, like, please don't take me as blaspheming, but honestly, there is nothing, well, there probably are a few things like the massive injustice of kind of the human trafficking movement and gender inequality and racism. But there are very few things that enrage me more than someone who just reads a PowerPoint. What is the point? Unless you're blind, and even then you can have braille or audio, we can all read. So don't read the PowerPoint to us. Just in case you were thinking of reading a PowerPoint to your customers, don't. Really not a good idea. And I'll find you. I know where you live. Okay? Cool. So there's a few other things I want to cover on some kind of fundamental bits before we dive into how you might think about structuring your course. And I really invite you to ask some questions as well. Do ping out some questions because what I'll be sharing is what has worked for me over the course of sharing, like developing and delivering like quite a few courses right now, both from a live setting and doing some online sessions as well. But you are you, right? So definitely ping out any questions if you have got them. Let me just kind of check on some comments, just refresh the hub. And definitely kind of be capturing some notes on some of these bits that I'm going to be sharing, because they're like the kind of foundation stuff that are going to make the structure and the processes work. Cool, let me see this. Fantastic. Okay, cool. So Edwin, some of your questions you're bringing is, do people want to listen? Can I actually do it? Okay, nice, good. Yeah, love a bit of Vaughan Williams. The Sea Symphony, if I remember rightly, big one for my dad. I do quite like that as well. So you're kind of trimming down to advanced riding. Awesome. Bridget, hello, how are you? And if you struggle with energy, it's down to practice. Listen, and don't kind of stress on the energy thing. Like Edwin, for you've got kind of two examples in myself and Dylan of people who are crazy high energy, right? That's just, that's our kind of, that's how we are, right? But equally, my sense is if you're delivering a project about advanced like motorbike riding, actually, I might, if I, this is just me making up as we go now, I'd quite like someone who's a bit more like focused and down to earth, and because like you don't take that shit seriously, you're dead, right? So actually, but again, just be you as well. And I think there's, don't be kind of super stressed. Bridget's watching in the car while her son is at a tennis lesson in the rain. Is that your son's playing in the rain, or you're in the car in the rain? I remember doing tennis lessons. I did a little short tennis as well. So Bridget, any questions you've got around kind of creating a curriculum? I'll just ping through the key bits I've shared very quickly. We talked about the kind of 4 things, 3 or 4 things, which if you do these at the start of any session you're delivering, you're gonna really enhance your chance of success, because we're assuming you know what you're talking about. Okay, so you enroll your participants with a question or some action taking. You then let them know why what you're sharing is important. Essentially answering the question, why should they bother listening? And you do that by giving them a bit of pleasure about what they or their customers will get out of it, and some pain about what happens if people don't take this stuff seriously. And then you let them know what's in it for them. You might cover your juicy topics that you're going to be sharing. You might also cover your intentions of what you hope they'll get out of the session, which is another way of articulating the benefits they're going to get, essentially. Okay, and then you make sure you bring the right energy, which is you're passionate, you're caring. Okay, and like we were just chatting with Edwin, who was saying, Edwin feels like he might have challenges around the energy, but again, if the passion and the caring is there, that's going to come across. You really take care of so much by caring. Okay, Luke, big up, brother. Good to see you. And listen, if there are any other questions that kind of arise as we go through this, my intention for the next kind of probably 7 to 10 days is to touch base with all of you personally. I've spoken to Cam, I've spoken to Sophia already, for a kind of 40-minute, hour just conversation, making sure that wherever you're at, whether you've missed loads of sessions or you've caught them all, you feel like you're in a pace to kind of keep going forward. Okay. So I'm really looking forward to connecting one-on-one with you guys for that. So let's talk a bit about timings. You might be thinking, how, I've been doing these half an hour per session for 30 days. I would generally say, and this is based on what has worked for me and what hasn't worked, is if you're delivering more than 2 sessions a week, I'd say the maximum you'd want those sessions to be is 45 minutes. Because A, you're asking for a lot of time commitment there if they're longer than 45 minutes per day. And some of us just don't have that. And also that, if you do start to, you need to catch up on sessions, that's a lot to catch up on if they're longer than 45 minutes. Okay. The reason I did the half an hour per session was, if you do miss a few, you've still not missed too many. Okay. You've still not got huge amounts to catch up on. Whereas on other courses where it's like 90-minute sessions, I'm like, Jesus, I've got like 4.5 hours to catch up on. It's like blows my brain. Okay. So what about one-offs? So yeah, Bridget, I would say one-offs I've enjoyed like a whole scope. Like I've done, like even online, I've done full day sessions where I kind of settle in and I get my kind of water and I get my notebook and I kind of settle in for a day session. I've done half-day sessions. And, so I would say if you're doing a one-off, you probably go the other way. This is just my sense on it, is actually, if you want to be delivering something one-off that's really valuable, I'd say 90 minutes is probably the minimum that people might feel like, well, I've got great value from that. Otherwise, it's kind of like, I'd sense it's just like hey, here's a little free taster bit, right? Whereas actually, like, don't even think about having the word taster in your vocabulary for anything you might teach. Make sure every time you step up, you are like sharing something that can make an immediate, powerful impact in someone's life. Okay. So that's, I guess, Bridget, that would be my qualification for a one-off, would be however much time you need to make an immediate, powerful impact. That's the right amount of time. Okay. Great. So keep the questions coming. So that's a bit about timings. And particularly if you're going to have exercises, really make sure you give people enough time. I am really guilty about trying to get people to do like loads of exercises in too little time. And all that does is create massive amounts of cortisol, massive amounts of stress hormone, where they're thinking, shit, I haven't quite finished the exercise and I need to listen to what George is saying next. So, yeah, really, like, when it comes to exercises and stuff, less is more. Give people more time to do less, right? So that they do it really well. And so that they're like, oh, great. You get that sense of achievement. They've done the exercise. Now they can focus back on listening in, okay? If people are trying to do 2 things at once, you start to really stress them out. And that's a terrible recipe for quality learning, okay? This would be schools to get openings for face-to-face clients. So Bridget, are you thinking you'd be going to schools and delivering a one-off? So yeah, I'd say I might backtrack a bit. In that case, it would be a question of, obviously the schools are going to have a limited amount of time. So if they only gave you, say, half an hour with a group of students, like, make sure, again, but keep that thing, make sure you can deliver something that can make an immediate, powerful impact in those people's lives. Because, of course, if you can do that and they go away talking, going, oh, that was like, we had half an hour, we did this thing, right? Then actually, the school's going to be like, wow, in half an hour, Bridget did this. Jesus, think what she could do in a longer, in a longer period, or when we get them face to face, right? So that is always the qualifying factor: is can you deliver outstanding value in however much time you've got, like something that will make a real impact in their lives. Okay, cool. Great questions, by the way. Thank you, Karen. I'm sorry that the internet seems to be playing up. I hope you can still follow along, and obviously check out the recording if not. Just going to check the hub, see if Edwin's posted up anything. Well, I write your script. Like, Bridget, honestly, if we on the one-on-one call, let's do that. We can set that as our intention. I'd love to help you do that. Cool. So, couple more bits, and then I want to kind of share with you some kind of samples, or just give you a sense of, I think do check out the hub, because I'm going to kind of share my screen so you can see kind of things broken down. But I'll talk you through obviously on this session as well. So a bit of communication, a bit about content. Okay. Jesus, I have learned this throughout this creative ignition journey. If you think you're being clear, be clearer, right? I felt like I'd shared with everyone where the hub was and where they could download this and that. And just brilliantly, people were still like, I'm not really sure where this is, right? So really be clear, particularly if you're delivering on video like this. And I still need to take this on board. Go much slower than you think you need to. You will be amazed at how, really how slow you can go, and the people on the receiving end won't feel like you're talking to a foreign person. Can you understand? No, it's like really, really, really. And if you think you've been clear, check, ask, say, is this making sense? Give me a like if this is making sense. Just give me some, notes in the chat box if this is making sense. And in your kind of posts in the group, if you need them to understand something before the session starts, check that they've understood. So you'll see on my post, I'll say, guys, tonight's session at this time. Like this post to show me that you know what time this post is. Or I'll be like, guys, this session is at 9:30. What time is this session? Write it in the comments, right? So really check to make sure that you've been comprehended, you've been understood, okay? And just a thing about content. Know what you want your listeners, your learners to get out of each session before you start. And at the end, check that they've got it. So at the end of every session, right, we had a lock-in session where I made sure that you guys were clear. Any questions you had, I'm like, I'm not leaving until every question has been answered, right? So that, I make sure that each session, you've got the learning outcomes, okay? You've got the learning outcomes, all right? So I'm just going to share the screen with the hub. Just kind of, we're going to go into, well, that is what I want. I'm going to start to kind of break down, just give some general guidelines, okay? Now, in the workbook, if you've got that, you'll see, I think I've mapped out like a 6-week course. You could also simply turn that into a 12-week course by doing half as many modules over double the amount of weeks, right? So here's some examples. Generally, you kind of 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks. For some reason, those are generally good numbers, okay? Or a half day. It tends to work really well. It's like that kind of 3 hours. You can get a good amount done in that 3-hour session, okay? So what I'm sharing in the hub is an example of, I think it's a 6-week course where I'd be delivering 3 sessions per week, as well as an introduction hangout and a Q&A at the end. So actually that's 5 days of content. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So 30 minutes per session. Sometimes it'd be 45 minutes. Okay. So the topic here, just to give you an example of how you might break this down, is pancake making. So I did week 1 was how you make the batter and the equipment you'll need. Okay. Week 2 would then be making savory pancakes. And week 3 would then be sweet pancakes. Okay. And so what I've done there is essentially I've got 3 modules being delivered over the course of 3 weeks. Batter and equipment, savory pancakes, and sweet pancakes. Okay. So a great way to begin this is to go, right, well, how do I work out what to actually share with people? And it's simply, I know we've done a bit of this already when we looked at your messages that move, in support your supporter, okay? Essentially is, what questions would people be asking themselves about what I want to teach, okay? And if you don't know, ask them. Like, really super simple, right? So at the start of this whole journey, I sent you an email or like an invitation, and I said, guys, where are you at with giving your gift? What's your main challenge? What have you tried that hasn't worked? So straight away, I'm just asking so that I know some of the bits I need to definitely include as part of my modules. And I'm just going to ping down on the hub so you guys can see further. So first question is, what do you want to teach? What do you want to teach? Okay. And given that we worked out that kind of 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks are the kind of the good numbers in terms of how to structure a course over a number of weeks, you then go, right, from what you're teaching, what are the 3, 6, 8, or 12 main elements, like main things that someone would definitely need to know in order to go from either like novice to proficient or proficient to expert, okay? And then it's simply a question of designing your modules. And guys, what I am going to do as well is I'll share with you the document I'm sharing on the hub so you guys have got it. Let me just ping back to where I was, right? So that's, you can see on the hub, that's how you might do it. Module 1, then you've got 3 videos in module 1. Module 2, 3 videos, etc., okay? Now I'm just going to ping back to, now you can either, like we've been doing here, just roll straight through with session. But you will also notice that we have 3 explanations and celebration sessions, which essentially were me making sure that you guys you kind of taken on board all the learning points, and that any questions you had that were like lingering, that they got answered. Now you'll see, if you're watching on the hub, on the recording or live, you'll see that one of the things that you could also do is to, on the start of the week, say on Monday, you have a kind of introductory session for the week's content, where you say, hey guys, this week we're going to be looking at batter and equipment. Now, what are some of the questions you've got around batter and equipment? What that allows you to do is to go, right, well, I missed out. I hadn't actually included types of whisk to include. I'm using the pancake example here, right? I hadn't actually included types of whisk. Let me make sure I make a note to include that, right? So then, so Monday, you have your kind of introductory session. Some people I've seen it called a fast start session. You then do Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you're delivering the content. And then on Friday, you have a Q&A. You have a Q&A that kind of looks back on the week and makes sure that everyone's kind of got all the learning points. They're ready to go into the next week, okay? And then you do the same thing. You start on Monday with an introductory session. What are some of the questions you've got around savory pancakes, guys? Anything come up over the weekend from the module 1 that we need to cover? Then you do your content, Q&A at the end, okay? So really, it's a really kind of, it allows you to be really thorough, but if you kind of bookend it in that way, you have the intro at the start and the Q&A at the end, right? In the middle is the sandwich of your content. What it allows you to do is to make sure that nothing gets missed. And the key here is information retention. If you are constantly checking back in with your participants, making sure that they haven't got any questions, that any questions that do happen get answered, the chances of them retaining their information, retaining the knowledge, really do soar. So that's why I recommend this as being important. Okay. So on your screen at the moment in the hub, you're seeing a kind of 3-week example. The key to then look at is, we're going to go down, is what are going to be some of your bonuses? Once you've broken down your content, you've worked out your course structure, and these are the little extra bits that people don't really think about, but they make all the difference. So what are going to be some of your bonuses? What kind of follow-up system are you going to have? Like, we're going to have some one-on-one calls, right? Because I want to make sure that this isn't just a kind of, engage and then disengage. I want to make sure this is an engage and grow process, okay? So what bonuses are you going to offer? And very often, they'll come to light as you go through the sessions. They'll come to light as you go through going, oh, well, they've asked about this a number of times. I'd better make sure I kind of do a session on that, right? So like the confidence ones we're going to be covering, a few of you have kind of talked about confidence being a thing. So let's make sure we nail that, right? I was going to do a whole separate course on confidence, but for you guys, I'm going to make sure that I share those sessions just for you, okay? So know your bonuses and know how you're going to follow up. Have you got a Facebook group already set up, okay? And the final thing that's, you know, really important is, what is a great title for your course? Okay, what is a great title for your course? Because people do judge a book by its cover. If I'd called this 30 Days to Know Yourself a Bit Better and Have More Confidence, quite a few of you might have taken me up on it. But the fact that I put it into a movement and I called it Creative Ignition, it's like there's a real action there, right? Now, you know, maybe you'll tell me that you'd have rather gone for the 30 Days to Know Yourself a Bit Better and Have More Confidence. But I hope that kind of the Creative Ignition is like, Dad, you know, that sounds like, you know, I'm up for that. That's what I need, right? You know, I think one of the when we do the confidence sessions as well, it's like the confidence course we're putting together. You know, I've got some working titles like From Shy to Shining or Bold and Brave. You know, but essentially they let your participant, your potential supporter, your customer know if they're out there going, this is what I need, and then they see the course that's titled exactly what they need. It's a very easy yes. It's a very easy decision for them. So, you know, again, on our calls, I'd really love the opportunity to kind of help you come up with a great title for your course as well. Yesterday on the call I had with Cam, we were working on his kind of rallying cry. So, you know, that it is important because people do judge a book by its cover. Okay. So let me kind of just ping over to the hub to make sure that any questions that have come up are dealt with. Where's my hub gone? There it is. Come on, hub. A bit slow. Let's see. Cool. Yeah. So Edwin, good. Yeah. You know, it's something I really need to know. You know, Edwin's saying people definitely need time to process what you're saying. And for someone who talks as quickly as I do, who's as passionate as I am, you know, I constantly have to remind myself to, you know, slow down. And you know, my wife said to me, Fan said to me, "Oh, you know, you repeat yourself quite a lot." That's because I know that there's times when I do speak too quickly. So actually, I know that if I reiterate what I'm saying, hopefully one of the times it's going to go in, right? So Edwin, any questions on you know, on what we've covered there? You know, Edwin's working with me on a brother of ours, Dylan, who's also kind of supporting people to develop courses and online programs. And so, you know, Dylan goes into a bit more detail on that, and I can certainly do that. The key thing is, you know, where's your supporter starting, and where do you want them to end up? And then it's simply a question of breaking down into manageable chunks the things they're going to need to know to get them from where they are to where you know they can get to. Okay. And you know, it sounds super simple, but I hope that in some of the things we've shared, you can start to see how to put it together. You know, like I said, 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, those tend to be, or also 21 days, 3 weeks, 90 days is another one, which essentially is 3 months. So that's 12 weeks, right? So you'll see those kind of trotted out as common ones as well. So yeah, let me know if there's any questions. Anything I need to kind of make sure that we've covered. And you know, again, so much. A lot of people will give you the, hey, so here's how you structure your course. They'll give you do the 90-day program, and each day you're going to send out an email with this, this, and this, or do the 30-day program, or the 21-day program, or the 6-week program, and actually, like you know, you could just have a Facebook group and say, hey guys, I'm going to go live in an hour, and as long as you make sure you enroll them, you let them know why it's important, you let them know what's in it for them, and you really freaking care, and you know what you're talking about, actually, you're still going to really achieve great success for your supporters, okay? Now, that said, having a structure they know, right, each day at this time I'm going to be able to engage is brilliant, because, of course, then they can structure their lives around it. Excuse me, just got the hiccups. But really, the foundation stuff that goes at the start, so, like, I can't overstate the importance of it, okay? Just going to check the hub, see if Edwin's got any questions. So stay tuned over the next day or so. I'll ping out a message, a private message to each of you, just saying, hey guys, when do you want to hook up for a call? When works for you in the next 10 days or so. I'd originally planned to maybe do the confidence sessions perhaps on Sunday afternoon. I was thinking of doing a bigger chunk so we can kind of really get into it. Again, if you're watching the recording, let me know how that would sit with you. Otherwise, we might do it slightly earlier. We might kind of go for like a 6 o'clock session, 3 or 4 times a week over the next couple of weeks. Okay. So let me know. I can't see any questions from Edwin at the moment. And I think one final thing to mention, and Edwin, this really applies to you as well, is if you're concerned that you could teach, say there's this much that needs to be taught, and you could teach this much of it, well, who could you connect with? Who could you joint venture with? Who could you partner with, so that they could teach or help you to teach that final bit that you might be missing on? So, for example, Edwin, if you were going to be doing advanced riding, okay, I'm guessing that, the tires, for example, are going to be important. Now, I don't know whether you're an expert in tires, but say you weren't an expert in tires, could you go down and, could you go down to, the garage where you get your tires and, simply set up a quick camera and interview Bob from the garage, who really is an expert on tires. And an interview is a great way, because actually you can, simply saying, hey Bob, what do you feel like my listeners really need to know about tires? And simply, if you play the student and let their expertise shine, okay, it's a really valuable way, because again, your customers, your supporters, they won't care that you've gone and got someone to interview. They're not going to be sat there going, oh, Edwin, he doesn't know about tires. That totally undermines his credibility for this entire course. No, they're going to be like, shit, awesome. I've got a guy I can speak to. I can call up Bob's garage if I've got a tire question that isn't answered by this course, right? So by partnering with people like I did with Fan, right, for the archetypes, like I did with Michelle for the angel readings, the tarot readings, right? It adds value. It doesn't undermine. And it can be a great way of actually getting your course out there further, because it might be Bob now goes to every customer who comes into his garage for tires. Hey, I was interviewed for this course. You want to know about advanced riding? Check out Edwin's course. So does that make sense, right? There's real power in partnerships. You don't have to know everything. Okay. Cool. So guys, any questions before I head off? I'm going to go and have some dinner now. Love Bridget, well done for interacting. Karen, sorry it's been a bit in and out for you. Do let me know if you've got any questions. Let me just check the hub one more time for brother Edwin. Oh, a bit of a headache. And like I say, any questions that do come up, especially if you're watching on the recording, make a note, and we'll cover them in our one-to-one session as well. Seeing one more comment. Let me just grab this. All right, nice. So, so Edwin, guys, you're saying now you decided to focus. You need to brainstorm some more. Outstanding. So, again, a couple of things. Couple of things you could try. Remember that reverse brainstorm we did, where actually try and think of as many ways to basically totally screw up advanced riding, and then you flip them and you do the positive opposite of each of those things. Okay, it can be a great way to get one or two little nuances that you might not have thought about. Okay, and the obvious one, ask yourself, if you were actually kind of, say you were an advanced riding instructor, what are the fundamentals that you would need to teach to a novice so that they could grasp advanced riding? And, you know, what are some of the things about advanced riding, Edwin, that you as an advanced rider feel like you could develop in as well? Remember, we talked about mastery, okay? So here's the big question is, not only are you trying to kind of give people the fundamentals of advanced riding, but the very nature of advanced riding, I'm guessing, means that the more you can bring in that mastery element, maybe go and seek out, you know, freaking interview a TT rider and say, you know, what could me as a kind of, as a fairly decent road rider, what could I learn from someone like you about how to make myself safer and, be more safe and have more fun as well. So yeah, and again, Edwin, really look forward to kind of, if there's any stuck points on your brainstorming, let's roll through with those in the call as well. So awesome. Guys, massive love. Can't wait to connect with you for the confidence sessions, connect with you for the one-to-one sessions. And if there's anything that still is missing from your journey, you know, post it up in the group and let's get another bonus session rolling. Okay. Go well. Have an awesome weekend. And I wish you every blessing and every love.